Right, here's a Peavey Classic 30. And we've got up on the top here it says. Well, it says EQ and reverb not working. But the first thing I see is it's got some kind of continental plug on it. It's plugged into an adapter. Now, when we take the adapter off, you see it only has two prongs, and then there is an earth connection, but there's no earth connection here. So this amplifier, the customer's been using it with no earth connection. On the continent that makes a connection, but not using this adapter. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is put a proper plug on it. I found a plug which I fitted, and it's got 3 amp fuse in it. So now the amp will be grounded. So we'll plug it in through the current limiter and see what happens. So there's a loud hum, and I don't know. Let me switch it off, and we'll have a look inside and see what's going on. The valves were glowing very red, but I don't know if they were going to end up red plating. But there's a hum which I would think is smoothing caps, but anyway. First thing I see is there's an issue with capacitors. Now, this is supposed to be an axial capacitor in here, and it's been changed to a radial. Looks to be the right. Well, I'll check that later. This here, that's broken, so that's doing no good. There's supposed to be one in there. It's not there, it's non-existent. There's another one supposed to be there, and that's gone as well. I don't like the look of this black tape wrapped around here. Suggests that something's been going on in there. I believe this amp came from Poland, which would explain the funny plug, continental plug. But anyway, I'll continue to dismantle it. But moving on a bit further, there's something funny going on here. As you can see, it could be replaced. Has it been replaced with the right one? Nobody knows. Quite a few screws missing with that. Anyway, we'll proceed. This part's been replaced, but all the solder connectors have broken off. I was accusing the previous, whoever was in here, of leaving capacitors, but they're in here under the board. Just another thing before we go any further. Whoever had it apart last time, they say that 3 screws. We're only needing 1, so we'll stick that one in the middle. That'll do. Now what I'm doing is trying to get rid of all this terrible glue that Peavey used. It's hot melt glue. So we'll heat it up. Heating it up and scraping it off. Careful not to heat it too much. We're working about 130 Celsius, which shouldn't melt the solder So it's just a case of heating it and then carefully trying to scrape it. Which I'll have to heat that a bit more, but here's more of this horrible glue. And then there's also the previous guy has been at it with silicone, which comes away cleaner. Right, this is us back to the Polish amplifier, as I'll call it, the Peavey. Replaced all the capacitors with the correct values. Checked out the resistors. We've changed some resistors. I've changed these 3 watts here, and we've taken them, elevated them so it doesn't get so hot. We've put in resistors so that the screens all have 1K resistors. 1K2 actually is the nearest I could get. This is them here for 2 of the output valves, and underneath there for the other 2. We still have to get this potentiometer, which has been replaced, which is comes to be different height from the rest of them, so I have to try and put down a lock nut. Is what had happened when he tightened it up in the chassis, and it had pulled this one up and broken all his solder joints, and that's why that didn't work. All the electrolytics have been changed, and I've been over this thing. I've had it up and running, and everything was working except the reverb, which I don't think ever was working. But this that was the wrong number. That somebody had been at that before, that little FET transistor thing. I've also changed this chip here, but this board is so fragile, and there's been repairs done to it before, and I've been over them all, and I've just found some more. Of course the links break also. These links, very fragile. This here, this is a temporary arrangement. So he'd cut this. These wires had been cut. This is from the output transformer, and the connection, the center tap had broken off. So I'm using these connectors just now as a temporary arrangement. We've replaced these resistors, lifted them, and we've also put on higher value resistors on the screen, and added a couple in here, so all these valves have got resistors now. There's only 2 of them had before. But as I say, I've had it working, so whatever happens when I put it back together now, after replacing that transistor and fixing up the circuit at the back, you never know, the reverb might work, which would be a good thing. Anyway, continue on. Now it's all working, ready to go back together. It's got all new caps, new electrolytic caps. It's got proper screen resistors. Now, I had to put in a tag strip for these resistors, which I think I referred to before as being 3 watt, or they're not 3 watt, they're 5 watt, 3 ohms, and there are the heaters for the EL84s. And the heaters for the EL84s are AC in series, so they're like your Christmas tree lights. If one doesn't work or one bad connection, then none of them work. The 3 12AX7s are also in series, but they are of course DC, and this amplifier, when it does work, is very quiet. Now there's so many broken traces and loose pads that there's quite a few chumpers. There's one there, there's more in underneath. There was nothing left for these to attach to. It was all loose and problematic, so wires are joined in. And that's all working. This plug center tap wire had broken off, so we soldered on here, and this is cables are spliced in here. I might do some with this. This is somebody with the electrical tape previously. We've put in screws where all the screws were missing, and put it all back together. I think this transformer, the transformer here has definitely something been done with it, but it seems to be the right transformer. This goes to the reverb. The reverb is not working. The little FET, the transistors, I think that was a wild goose chase. I think it was all down to broken traces and loose connections, bad connections. If I had to replace this pot, this was the potentiometer that had been replaced before. It's got a different size shaft on it, of course, but so had the one before. It's a different size shaft. All the rest are original, and you work. Excuse my camera work, it's a bit ropey. Right, I put it all back together, see how it sounds. So, just to prove it works. So that's the normal channel. Reverb. Reverb works. Bass works. Middle works. Treble works. Boost works. Post, we should get the crunch now. I'll say that works. So, I could play a little tune, but I don't have 3 hands, so we'll just have to do without that luxury. Okay, thanks for watching.